Here we are inside the Bailey Unicorn Valencia. If we first move over to the main control panel, we will flick this switch here and turn the 12 volt on. Beside that, we'll turn on the water pump. Water pump needs to be on so you can get water out your taps and fill your boiler up if it's been drained. Whenever the pump is running, so if we now just go across to a tap and we just open it, you'll see the light has come on whilst the pump is in operation, and then as soon as I turn tap back off again, once the boiler has refilled itself, it will then go back out. Above that we have the main isolator for all the lights, and then they can all be individually turned off on their own switches. And then beside that we have the awning light. Above we have the voltage indicator for the leisure battery. The television aerial is located in this front overhead locker. You will see the digital amplifier just here. It can go on and off on the top, and we can control the boost just here. To put the aerial up, we just undo this collar here and we can go up, down, and then twist it all about to get it in the position that you require, and then obviously lock back into place. You'll see we're currently in the horizontal position. If we rotate the tail, we can actually flip the aerial onto its side into the vertical position if you need additional tuning. The aerial for the stereo is also built into that aerial there. On and off on the source button, you'll see that it also has USB connectivity just there. Volume control just here. Obviously search for radio stations or change tracks, etc. just there. Switch between obviously sources just by pressing. And then menu button just there if you need to change graphic equalizers, etc. And then back off again just by holding the source button in. If we go across to the other side, you will see we have the control panel for the Aldi boiler. On and off on this one here. You'll see it's currently displaying the temperature inside the caravan, and it's letting us know that we have main supply connected. If I now press the menu button, it will bring up all of its basic functions. So you'll see the top one here is the thermostat for the heating, just plus and minus to pick whatever temperature you want it to be inside the caravan. Next we have hot water. Currently hot water is off. If I now hit the plus button, hot water is then on. And if I hit it again, we're now performing a boost on the boiler. The boost is extremely handy if there's more than one of you having showers in quick succession of each other. If you do perform the boost and the heating is running, it will turn the heating off because it needs to take that power away from it to perform it. Next we have power source. So we're currently using main supply using 3 kilowatts. I can lower the power consumption to 2 or 1 kilowatt if we're on a low amp site, or turn the system off altogether. If we don't have main supply, we can use gas. And if you do have both power sources available to you, what you can also do is run the system in dual fuel as well. Very handy, especially in the winter months if you want to get up to temperature nice and quickly. If I now hit the menu button, we will then go into its settings menu, and you'll see that we have timers, etc. So this first one here is so we can set the correct time, day of the week, etc. for the timer. And then you'll see we've got a moon and a sun for night timer and day timer. So to turn the timer on and off, up the top here, set the temperature that you want it to be throughout that night period. set when you want night mode to begin and then end. And then what we can also do is invert the backlight, and we can also have it so no hot water is made throughout that period. Then we have day mode, so basically the same again, but just for the daytime. We can also, instead of having multiple timers, just have one start and stop timer, as it were. So you can have it so it comes on at Monday at 9 in the morning and continues to run until, say, Friday at 12 in the afternoon. Prioritize is what the system prioritizes in using when you are using dual fuel. So it's currently set to favour main supply over gas. So basically, once you get up to temperature, it will cut the gas off and then maintain on the electricity. If you were on a low amp site, what you can do is obviously flip it on its head so it's consuming more gas, less electric. Your next one is just your thermostat offset. So if you don't think the thermostat inside is quite correct, you can just tweak it. If we then arrow down, we have basically the brightness of the screen. We can invert it as it is at the moment. Antimicrobial is this one. So if I activate that, what you do also need to use is the night timer, and then basically in conjunction with that night timer, if this is on, what will happen is at about 2-3 o'clock in the morning, the boiler will come on and rapidly heat itself up to kill off any bacteria that may be in it. Pump settings, just leave it set to thermal. If you change it to continuous, obviously the circulation pump for the heating system will just run continually. Button beeps on and off. Language, external start, that's if you wanted the additional SIM box added. Usually costs about sort of £400–500 for that, and then you can then control it via an app. These ones are not used on this particular model. This one is, and we can highlight it in a minute, which I will come back to. Service, more for the workshop, but it will let you know what everything is up to. So as you can see, the glycol's at 32 degrees and the water temperature's at 21 degrees at the moment. Full factory reset, so if there is a problem and it won't just reset it, you can obviously do this hard reset. Installed accessories, so if we go in here, you'll see I can now tick the load monitor, which was that symbol that was in the grey. And if we now go back, you'll see we can use it. So if you arrive on site and you know how many amps the site is, so say it's a low 10 amp site, we can set that, and it doesn't matter that I've left this on 3 kilowatts because it will basically stop itself from pulling any more than 10 amps. You'll see now that we have an A, which is for activated functions, so we can go straight back to it and then turn it back off again. The location of the boiler is just underneath the bench seat just here. So if we just remove the cushions for a moment, and then we just lift up, you'll see that the boiler is located just here. The boiler drain valve is located just down here. It is a yellow lever that is flapped over. That means that it is in the closed position. To drain the boiler down for travel or for winterization, we need to flap the yellow lever up so it's pointing straight up, and it will then drop the water out of the boiler. I always suggest, especially when you are winterizing the caravan, that once you've flapped up that yellow lever just there, that you then also come and open up all the taps as well, because that will then release any airlocks. And also, if it is a harsh frost, what we hope is that as the water is freezing, it will be forced out the end of the tap into the icicle instead of expanding in the pipework and splitting it. When it comes to filling the boiler back up again, make sure the yellow lever is flapped back over. Drop your submersible into the aqua roll and then turn the water pump on, and it will then begin to reprime itself up. Obviously the taps will cough and splutter for a bit as they force the air out, and then once they're running freely we can then close the taps up and you'll be fully pressurized. We then have the hob, so we have one electric hot plate which works off the main supply. On this one here, red light comes on to let you know it's in operation, and then the rest of the rings are gas, and it's the fairly normal stuff. Push in, twist and hit the igniter. There we go. And then beneath we then have the grill. And beneath that the oven. Beside the oven we have the gas isolation taps. They're all in the on position, and really they can actually stay like that if you wish. I always say if you smell gas, go to the source and turn the gas bottle off. As you can see, they've got symbols and then they correspond on the sticker just here. Underneath the cooker itself you will find that there is a storage space, but do make sure that you do not obstruct the gas drop hole. The microwave just sits above. Do make sure that the plate is out for travel. Then it just behaves like most microwaves. Twist for time, start, stop, etc. Just there. The solar panel regulator is just located above the fridge. We do not need to do anything with this. As you can see at the moment, we've got a solid green light, meaning that the leisure battery is at optimum level and not requiring a charge. Whenever a charge is being popped in via the solar, it will steadily flash green. If we now open up the Dometic fridge, you will see we have off at the top, main supply, 12 volt maintain for when we're towing, and then gas. If we're going to use the fridge on gas, we need to come across the temperature control just here, and then what we're wanting is this line here to drift out of the white into the green. So all we do, press in and then press the igniter. And as you can see, it's now lit. As soon as we turn it to something else, it will then put itself straight back out again. Beneath the fridge, we have the consumer unit. So that's just here. So we have all the individual MCBs, RCD and your test button. And then you have all your 12 volt fuses all just there. Again, all labelled up, so it does make things nice and easy if something's not working. The leisure battery is located beside the wardrobe in the bed. And if we now go into the wardrobe, in here we have just where the microwave's plugged in, and we also have the header tank for the Aldi heating. If I just take this collar off just here, you will see we can take the expansion tank cap off. Do need to make sure that the fluid is between the minimum and the maximum. Always take your reading once the heating is up to temperature. If it is a little bit low, you can top it up yourself, but make sure that you are using proper Aldi solution. If we now go underneath the bed, you'll see we have ample storage just in here. You can see down there, that's just where the fridge is plugged in. The table just sits here. And then if we go into the washroom, we have the shower just here, the basin just here, and then the Thetford toilet. Swivels all about, opens to the cassette on the grey lever, and then push to flush just up here, and then close back up on the grey lever. If the grey lever has been left open and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not remove. As we come back out again, you can see we have a fixing point for the television, and then up the top here we have aerial lead in, 12 volt and main supply. In the roof we have the Fiamma turbo vent fan. So to put the roof vent up and down, just turn here, and then the controls just sit here. So we have in and out, fan speed on this side, and then temperature control just here. Do make sure that the roof vent is down for travel. The caravan is fitted with an alarm, and the PIR sensor for it just sits up here. You'll see the green light flashes occasionally. If I grab the keys, you'll see the sergeant fob just here. So the top one is just a torch. The next one is arm disarm, so one beep is armed, two beeps is disarmed. We then have awning light on and off, and then the last one, which is a letter P, stands for program. You can alter the characteristics of the alarm. You cannot inadvertently just do anything just by pressing it. You do need to hold it down for 10 seconds and then look at the PIR. So you can basically put it into high wind mode, pet friendly mode, etc. But I do suggest that you do read the manual before playing with that. Storage underneath this side as well. And then the front bed is the fairly standard pull out for the slats.